Hello and welcome for today's session on Prasthanatrayi. It goes without saying that India is rich in its philosophical heritage, which is contained in the Vedas that belong to Shruti tradition or that which is heard. Vedas come from the Sanskrit root word Vida, which means to know. Vedas are 4 in number: Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda respectively. Each Veda is further divided into 4 sections or parts. The first one is mantras, which is in form of collection, samvitas. These are hymns or metric verses which are to be chanted loudly during rituals, ceremonies and rites. They are poetic in form. Brahmanas are elaborate explanations of the mantras in terms of why certain mantras are to be chanted, what are the significance of these mantras, and towards whom are these mantras addressed. Brahmanas are in prose form. Aranyakas are esoteric thoughts, profound understandings, meditations on the Brahmanas written in the forest. These Aranyakas are the beginnings of philosophical literature or tradition. The last one is Upanishads, which is also known as Gudha Vidya or secret instructions, comprising of abstract, highly philosophical knowledge. Upanishads are also known as Vedanta or the pinnacle peak of Vedic understanding or wisdom. Mantras and Brahmanas comprise of Karma Kanda section of Vedas, that is the section which is related to rituals, and Aranyakas and Upanishads form the Jnana Kanda or that section of the Vedas which is related to wisdom or knowledge or philosophical understanding. Let us now begin with the question, what is Prasthanatrayi? The word Prasthanatrayi comes from the Sanskrit word Prasthana, that is sources of authority or of Vedic teachings, and the word Trayi, that is 3 in number. Thus, Prasthanatrayi text comprises of 3 divisions of Jnana, and these are the theological texts having epistemic authority. Prasthanatrayi comprises of Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutras. Upanishads are the texts which belong to Shruti Prasthana or that which is heard, orally communicated. Bhagavad Gita is related to Smriti Prasthana or that which is remembered and compiled in written form. And Brahma Sutras are related to Nyaya Prasthana or that which are logically and systematically understood in written form. Let us begin with Upanishads. The word Upanishad comes from the Sanskrit root Upa plus Ni plus Shada, which means to sit down around or near the Guru. Unlike Vedic mantras, which are to be loudly chanted, Upanishads are supposed to be whispered or they are to be told to Arya or noble disciple by the Guru in his or her ear. Upanishad or Vedanta also stands for equivalence or connection, an ontological connection between human individuals and cosmic entities. It talks about interconnected universe with a single unifying principle behind all the diversities and pluralities, which is Brahman, the ultimate supreme reality. Brahman, which is at the cosmic level, is reflected or is same as Atman at the microcosmic level. Vedanta or Upanishad forms the 4th part of the Vedas, and as mentioned earlier, it also belongs to the Jnana Kanda part or the knowledge oriented part of the Vedas. There are important concepts which are discussed in Upanishads, or we can say that These concepts form the subject matter of the Upanishads, which are, to begin with, the Brahman, ultimate reality, supreme cosmic principle, which is a substratum of the entire universe. The microcosmic reality, which is Atman, and Atman is supposed to be consciousness. Then we have Jagat or Prapancha, Sansara, then Maya or power, creation, Moksha, liberation, and Karma or action. There are more than 108 Upanishads. The oldest principal Upanishads are arranged in rough chronological order in three groups. The first comprises of Brihadaranyaka, Chandogya, Taittiriya, Aitareya, Kena, Kaushitski, Mahanarayana Upanishad. The second is Katha, Shvetashvetara, Isha, Mundaka, Prashna, Mandukya and Maitri Upanishad. And the third one is Samanya, Sannyasa, Shakta, Shaiva, Vaishnava and Yoga Upanishad. Samanya Upanishad expounds Vedanta in general. Sannyasa Upanishads elaborates on ideal of renunciation or Vairagya. Shakta, Shaiva and Vaishnava are related to the three religious cults and they are also the teachings related to those cults or sectarian practices. And Yoga Upanishad explores different aspects of yogic discipline. The essence of the Upanishads is contained in the Mahavakyas or the great statements. The first one is Prajnanam Brahma, which comes in Aitareya Upanishad. It means insight is Brahman or Brahman is the insight. Ayam Atma Brahma, which comes in Mandukya Upanishad. It means this self Atman is Brahman. Tattvamasi, which comes in Chandogya Upanishad, means that essence, referring to Sat or Brahman, the existent, are you, Tvam. Aham Brahmasmi, which comes in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, means I am part of the ultimate reality, Brahman. The Brahma Sutras is one of the three most important texts in Vedanta, along with the principal Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, which comprises of Prasthanatrayi. Brahma Sutras are also known as Vedanta Sutras because they derive this name from Vedanta or Upanishads, literally means the final aim or peak of the Vedas. Brahma Sutras are commentary on Upanishads. Sharirika Sutras because it talks about Sharira or that which lives in the Sharira body, that is Atman. It is also known as Bhikshu Sutra, which literally means sutras meant for monks or mendicants. And last but not the least, they are also known as Uttar Mimamsa Sutras to show the difference between Purva Mimamsa, that is the school of Jaimini, and Uttar Mimamsa, which is the legacy of Acharyas and their work, namely commentaries on the Vedas and the Upanishads. The Upanishadic teachings are well systematically and logically set in the Brahma Sutras. Brahma Sutras comprises of 555 sutras or aphorisms, 4 adhyayas or chapters, which are divided in 4 padas or sections respectively. In all, there are 192 sections or adhikaranas. Brahma Sutras are an inquiry into the Upanishads, and the authorship of Brahma Sutras goes to Badaranya Vyasa. The first chapter of Brahma Sutras is Samanvaya, which literally means harmony. It tries to show how the different Vedic texts, though they are different in their teachings, show internal consistency and single precept. Harmony or Samavaya signifies that everything is synchronous and harmonious whole in the seemingly diverse and conflicting passages in various Shruti texts. This chapter comprises of 134 sutras, 11 adhikaranas in the first chapter, 7 in the second, 14 in third and 8 in the fourth. The chapter begins with a very beautiful and important line, Athato Brahma Jidnyasa, which literally means, then therefore the inquiry into Brahman. Brahman is the only source of knowledge, the substratum, the source of this universe, Adhishthata, which is discussed in the first chapter. The chapter also quotes Sankhya Darshana and the concepts of Prakriti and Purusha. The second chapter is called Avirodha. Avirodha literally means non-conflict. The second chapter tries to bring about a discussion on the central themes of Vedanta and how there is consistency across the Vedantic texts, as well as how these debates, arguments tries to dismiss refutations. There are 157 sutras, 13 adhikaranas in the first chapter, 8 in second, 17 in third and 9 in the fourth. This chapter variously is interpreted by Advaita school, Vishesha Advaita school, Dvaita school and other sub-schools of Vedanta. It also addresses other important concepts like Avidya, Jagat, Atman, Prana and many more. The third chapter is titled Sadhana. Sadhana means practice towards spiritual knowledge. Sadhana also stands for a process of how to achieve ultimate emancipation. The topics discussed under this chapter are diverse. This chapter is the longest chapter and it comprises of 186 sutras, 6 adhikaranas in the first chapter, 8 in second, 36 in third, 14 in the fourth. The major focus is on nature of Adhyatmika Jnana and the margas, paths or ways towards it. It also discusses in detail concepts like old age and death, Jara Marana or Janana Marana, Karma or action, Swadhyaya or self-study, Dhyana or meditation. The last or the fourth chapter is Phala, which literally means the result or consequence. This chapter talks about benefits of spiritual knowledge or consequences of the sadhana. This is the shortest chapter with 78 sutras and 38 adhikaranas, 14 in first, 11 in second, 6 in third and 7 in the fourth pada. This chapter discusses dhyana or meditation, the concept of Atman or consciousness, moksha, liberation and so on. The third important part of Prasthanatrayi is Bhagavad Gita, the song of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita is the most revered, sacred and the most important religious classics of the world, which is a philosophical text, self-contained guide and a practical lighthouse of knowledge. It is originally in Sanskrit but is translated in different foreign languages. There are in all 700 shlokas and 18 adhyayas or chapters. Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata epic. It is set in a narrative framework of a dialogue between Pandava prince Arjuna and his friend philosopher guide charioteer Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is also known as Moksha Shastra, or the science of emancipation, liberation. Gitopanishad, implying its status as an Upanishad or Vedantic scripture. Yogopanishad, as it contains teachings on yoga and sadhana. And Adhyatma Shastra, or the science of spirituality. The major purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from nascence of material existence and help deal with material existential crisis. It is essence of Upanishadic Vedantic teachings, or in other words we can say that the Vedic Upanishadic teachings and the teachings of Brahma Sutras are all together explained or given in Bhagavad Gita in a nutshell. The 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita can be classified into 3 sections based on the 3 important disciplines or approaches, namely Karma, Bhakti and Jnana. The first 6 chapters, that is Vishada Yoga, Sankhya Buddhi, Karma Yoga, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Atma Sanyama Yoga, they belong to Karma Marga, or the path of action. Jnana Vijnana Yoga, Akshara Parabrahman Yoga, Raja Vidya Guhya Yoga, Vibhuti Vistara Yoga, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga belong to the path of devotion or bhakti. And Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, Purushottama Yoga, Daivi Asuri Sampada Vibhaga Yoga, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, Moksha Upadesha Yoga belong to knowledge or jnana approach or path. Bhagavad Gita, the text, is interpreted and commented upon by great scholars as per cultural norms and their traditions. There are major commentaries which are classified as classical commentaries and modern commentaries. Just to name a few, we have Gita Bhashya by Adi Shankaracharya, Gitartha Sangraha by Ramanujacharya, Gita Bhashya and Gita Tatparya Nirnaya by Madhavacharya, Tattva Prakashika by Nimbarkacharya, Jnaneshwari or Bhavartha Dipika by Sant Jnaneshwar, Gita Rahasya by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Anasakti Yoga by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Gitai by Vinoba Bhave, Integral Yoga by Sri Aurobindo, and many more. Bhagavad Gita is not just one text, but there are other important Gitas or text which gives the Upanishadic meaning in a nutshell. Just to name a few again, we have Anugita, Vyada Gita, Uddhava Gita, Ganesha Gita, Rama Gita, Ashtavakra Gita, so on and so forth. As a concluding remark, I would like to give the shloka which says Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimahi Shastra Vistare Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmam Dvinihi Sruta. It means Gita should be carefully studied. After studying the text, its meaning, idea should be gathered and held in the mind. It emanated from the lotus-like lips of Lord Vishnu, from whose navel spring the lotus. What's the use of studying other elaborate scriptures? Thank you.